Morning, everybody. Whenever I hear the words Cape Town, it conjures up all my favorite memories and I yearn to return. Today, I have the privilege of speaking to Joanne Selby, the General Manager of the best address in town, namely Sun International's TableBay Hotel in the V&A Waterfront. Without further ado, let's connect to Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Lovely to be back at the TableBay. Looking at the image there, it feels as though I'm sitting in the wonderful lobby again. It's so nice to see you, and we really appreciate you coming on 360 Conversations.
Oh, thanks so much, Ian. It's good to see you, and it's good to be in the hotel. I'd dearly love to see some guests around, but I suppose this is our world at the moment. But warm greetings from a beautiful day in Cape Town.
Wonderful. Yeah, it'll be so good when, as I say, I'm always used to seeing the bustle of activity in the lobby. So it's so strange to see it quiet like that. Anyway, peace and quiet for you. Joe, a couple of things, but the TableBay has been operating for over 2 decades now. And there's obviously, through that time, there's been some tough times. But the severity of COVID-19 must stand out for you as the worst ever. How have you managed to cope during these times?
I think that, I think it'll be something, it's going to be something that'll stand out in all of our lifetimes. I think, when people are talking about remember the war, I think we'll be saying remember COVID. And I'm hoping that we will be able to say remember COVID and the impact that it had. But I think we're incredibly resilient in Africa. I feel like we've done SARS, we've done foot and mouth, we've done the water crisis, we've done a lot of things. And I think that with everything, you've got to look at it as a glass half empty. Is not the way to look at it. Sorry, it needs to be half full. I think that it'll be what does our new normal look like? How do we refine how we do things? And we'll get through it. I'm very positive about it. I think that we've probably hit the pause button and we're starting to regroup and move again forward, and probably at a slower pace. But we'll be fine.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. I mean, it's definitely the question on everybody's mind, isn't it? This so-called new normal, what is it going to be? But also I have no doubt, I mean, the whole tourism industry is something that is very resilient. We always do come back. I guess for all of us, it's just that timeline and that big question mark when. But things are changing.
Well, we were laughing last night because one of the seals seems to have made its way out of the water and was kind of sticking its nose up against one of the restaurants. So he's obviously feeling, it's time for a sit-down meal and a bit of a party as well. This, eating fish on the go, this takeaway situation is clearly not even working for the seals in the harbor. So, I think it'll be fine. I really do.
Excellent. Joe, the TableBay, it's always been well known worldwide for its not only its incredible location, but also for the magnificent staff that you have there and the wonderful levels of service that have always been provided for all your customers. As this continues to go on, it gets, it's extended a lot further than we thought it will. How are all the staff coping?
Do you know, we're very blessed with technology. We have a great app called Sun Talk that we can keep our staff appraised and obviously connect on a regular basis through Zoom, through Microsoft Teams, and using technology to connect with people. And also WhatsApp groups, and just from time to time, some small face-to-face meetings at the hotel. We've got a core team taking care of the building that are doing an incredible job. But it's amazing to see how passionate people are about it. From our customers, I mean, we've had pictures of guests drinking TableBay house wine in their dining room and sending us pictures and saying, wish we were there. And I mean, we've reached out to a lot of our regular guests, and it's just, we are all in this together. So I think from a staff point of view, it's keeping them engaged, keeping them informed, and really trying as much as possible to understand, it's so difficult to communicate when you don't see people, when you're not seeing their facial expressions or picking up the kind of body language cues and things like that. So you've almost got to do it, communicate even more clearly and more carefully to kind of check in and make sure that sidebar, there's always the sidebar of conversation, doesn't run away with itself. So we've been very specific about being as transparent with our people as possible and encouraging them as well, because it's tough. And I mean, we've had some great stories. I mean, the stories about what people do on lockdown is just incredible. The chef's been doing amazing things. I think he's obviously established that my cooking skills are not great, because every time I see him, there's a kind of a little food pass or some amazing, he makes the most divine curry. So I've been blessed with that. It's not helping my struggle with the lockdown fridge. That's the problem. But yeah, I think people are doing their own things. I mean, everyone's doing it a little bit differently, but people are so passionate and so committed. We're incredibly blessed. We really, really are.
Okay, that leads me to the question with being closed, and it's, as I say, it's not, nobody really knows what it's like to close a hotel for an extended period of time, but you've obviously got a core group of people that are there. How many do you have, and what is their key roles during this time?
So we've obviously got our security team looking after the building under Dionysius, our security manager. And we've got Graham and his maintenance team. Graham also oversees health and safety. So with SIPO, they're working very hard on the opening protocols for the hotel. So really maintenance and security are probably our core people in the building at the moment. And then less in the building, but really working behind the scenes and from home are our revenue team. So Eldoret, our reservations team with Shanice, Eureka in our groups department. So just making sure that people, our responsibility is to make sure that our guests feel safe and that we're providing a safe, secure environment. So really tracking every part of that customer journey from before they get to us, when they're making that buying decision, to the time that they leave us, to make sure that we kind of cradle them and keep them safe. And then also we've got our HR team, so under Gillian, so taking care of our people. We've got 357 people that we need to worry about that are at home and uncertain about the future. So it's really managing expectations, and it's silly things like electronic pay slips, making sure that making sure that they've got the support that they need when they can't come in and do manual processes. So we're very lucky that we have Life Assist, which is a very, very good program that gives you a lot of assistance through life financial planning, stress management, because it's trauma. It's actually traumatizing for people to kind of have this period of unknown. And I think there was a very interesting analogy the other day about how it's almost like Stockholm syndrome. We're under lockdown, we're prisoners, and we're kind of looking to our leaders for guidance and advice. So we're trying to avoid Stockholm syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to make sure that we keep it real, and we're honest with people, and we support them through this really, really difficult process. And particularly because no one's untouched at the moment. Everyone, I think, knows someone that has COVID or has had some sort of, it has had an impact on everybody's life. In your family, it's had an impact on someone's life, be it financial, be it, a change in circumstances, be they ill. And then last but not least, our finance people, how they keeping us going with no revenue coming in. And I think under Mandy, she's doing an incredible job. And I think that's probably the core from an operational point of view. Under Nico, everyone's, and Melissa's writing SOPs. So we're in the building, moving furniture around, taking away unnecessary clutter, planning where our walk-off mats will go. We've got an amazing, so that when the staff come back, we've got amazing teams. When the staff come back, the leadership team is very clear that we are providing a safe, secure environment, that people don't come back and feel uncertain. Okay. So I think those are the priorities at the moment for us. So we're very lucky. We have, I would say, 14 people that are visiting the property on a regular basis, but behind the scenes, a lot of people keeping us busy.
Well, that sounds just like the TableBay to me.
Yeah.
Definitely a wonderful team there, Jo. You mentioned maintenance, and you got the maintenance team there. I mean, I'm assuming with the hotel closed, there's still ongoing maintenance that happens, or is there any maintenance that you brought forward, or any things that are doing during this time that you are allowed to do?
So we are using the opportunity to do a lot of preventative maintenance that we would prefer not to do when the hotel is operational. And a couple of things that we've kind of put on the back burner. It's now the perfect time to do things in the gardens and things in the grounds that would sometimes, would disturb traffic coming into the building. So we're doing a couple of those things, and it's the ongoing maintenance. It's the Legionella's disease. You've got to run the taps. You've got to check the air conditioning, servicing all of that, servicing the lifts, doing some big services of our equipment, and just checking that the building's ready for, fit for purpose when we open our doors.
Okay, great. Good. One of the things with TableBay, and you've always been very close to a lot of the local communities, and you support them a lot, which is obviously a lot of that income is generated through the guests that come and stay with you and so on. Obviously now with no guests, no income, how has this affected the services that and the work that you do for the local communities?
I think we're very blessed in that our people are doing an awful lot in their personal capacities. So, for example, every Wednesday, the chef is making soup and feeding people in the community, and a lot of people are doing things. Where we are lucky is that, I suppose lucky is probably not the word, it's completely the wrong word, but we have some amazing people doing amazing things. And with the hotel being closed, obviously we came off a very busy January, a very busy February, and a great March until the lockdown happened. And we were running high levels of stock. So there were a lot of consumables, and are a lot of consumables that we've managed to donate. So we've been supporting a project called Ladles of Love that does a lot of feeding in the communities and where our staff live. So from eggs to flour to all of almost, we did milk and cookies the other day, the milk from the long life milk from the rooms and the cookies that we put in the guest rooms and all of those things. So as we can, we are donating things to the community that they can use. And we're very, I suppose, lucky that we were busy and we had such large quantities of stock that we still can keep donating those items to the community.
Oh, that's really good to hear. And I'm sure it's really appreciated.
Right.
With the government announcing the imminent reopening of hotels, I know that you and Sun International as a whole has put a lot of work in developing the health and safety protocols going forward for each operation. How are you positioned with regards to implementing those protocols? And do you have a date when you think you might reopen?
We are cautiously optimistic about the 1st of September. We think that we're talking to governments on a group level about, and as an industry, about trying to get the borders opened by the 1st of September so that we can have a slow ramp up into the summer. It's a change of season. They say that we will peak before then. So, the Western Cape's peak is really the end of this month, early next month. So, and we're already seeing some signs of, some green shoots in that. So that's great. So it's really about ramping up for season, or whatever season will be, but also then being available for the domestic market. There's still some uncertainty about cross-border travel, interprovincial travel, and our thinking is that by September it'll iron itself out, and guests can travel pretty freely in and around South Africa, and a lot of the attractions will be done, and we're bedded down. We'll also learn from our casino properties that have opened already. Sure. From a customer journey point of view in the health protocols, it's been amazing. I mean, at the moment, just to get into work today, we on our app, we've done so in terms of pre-screening, we do a comorbidities questionnaire for all of our staff to say that are they eligible to return to work. Then they fill out on a daily basis a questionnaire just in terms of you can fill it out from 90 minutes to the start of your shift, and literally, do you have any of the symptoms? When you arrive at work, you sanitize, and then it literally gives you a green light. You can come in or not, and if not, you're referred for a secondary interview. They take your temperature and you come into the office. And I mean, that's it's social distancing. It's a walk-off mat through to decontaminate your shoes, and it's those kind of protocols. What works for our customers in terms of safe, secure environments is exactly what we'll be doing for our staff.
Okay.
I think we're definitely well poised to make guests feel safe and to make our staff feel safe as well. And we use this lockdown period as our practice and our dry run, because we're doing it every day.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's really great to hear. And Joe, tell me, with the government announcing the opening, so there is confusion between intra and inter-regional travel at the moment. But as you say, maybe it'll all be bedded down soon. I mean, I know that the majority of your business is international business, but domestic still does play a role. Have you started to see towards the latter part of the year an increase in domestic bookings, or is there an interest in the domestic market? Can you see any patterns emerging as yet?
I think, you know, a lot of our regular international guests are still pretty committed to coming to the hotel towards the end of the year. And certainly from a summer point of view, we're seeing a lot of interest from our local guests, specifically September, October. You know, with the interruption in the school schedules and things like that, we're not seeing too much movement at the moment. I think people are still getting used to lockdown living in terms of homeschooling. But certainly September, October, the local bookings are looking really promising.
Okay, that's good news. Very good.
Yeah.
And then obviously this whole situation, I mean, you know, we keep saying it. I mean, it's just hard to believe that we're in the situation we're in at the moment, and it's new to all of us. But I guess out of any situation, we all have to look for the positives. Are there any key learnings that you and your team are able to take away from this period?
I think that, you know, I think that it's been, I think strangely enough, we've become closer. I've become close. If I look at some of my learnings, I've become closer to certain of my team members through working remotely. And that's the strangest thing. People that I would possibly not interact with as closely. And I think so, for example, my financial manager and I will engage on a regular basis, but working remotely, you connect on a different level, I think. I think there's a more supportive environment throughout the business. And I think in terms of the key learnings would also be about relevance. What is, you know, what's relevant and how do we keep ourselves relevant? I think that's the biggest thing for me. And I think I probably, after the water, you know, going through the water situation in Cape Town, I think we applied a lot of those learnings. Well, we certainly had the sanitizer. We've still got the sanitizer. We applied a lot of those learnings through in terms of how do you deal with it? How do you make sure that taking every step of the customer and the staff journey through the process, and how do you make sure that we, you know, for me, if my staff are comfortable, if my team can talk with confidence about what we're doing. Actually, strange enough, we're only looking to open in September, and we've got our housekeeping management staff doing training on Thursday on the chemicals that we're using in the rooms, so that by the time our staff walk in and our guests walk in, anyone will be able to tell you with confidence exactly what we're doing. And I think that's another big lesson, is making sure that people are invested. You know, I think I probably told you this story when we had the water crisis, is that one of our guests had been staying with us for 10 days, and we'd been encouraging guests to take showers, and we'd remove the bath plugs. And he said to one of the receptionists, and the loveliest guest in the world, said, you know, I've been here for 10 days. It's my last night. Do you think I could have a bath? And the receptionist said to him, well, if you really want to do that to the people of Cape Town, sir, by all means. And he said, it's okay, I'll shower and I'll bath in Joburg. Wow. And that for me was such a tipping point in terms of when people at every level of our business buy into the success of this. And that's what I'm seeing with COVID. That for me will be the key learning, is that everyone is invested in making this a safe environment for themselves and for our customers. And I think that's really humbling. And that's, you know, there've been amazing moments of people going above and beyond, and great ideas coming through the business. So I think we're very, very blessed. I think that the power of people is probably my key learning, the power of people and the power of relationships. And it's a funny thing to say in a hotel where there are no people. The power of relationships is an incredible thing.
Wow, that's really interesting. Really, thank you for sharing that. And then lastly, Joe, the UK market here is a massive supporter of TableBay. We all love the TableBay. It's definitely one of my favorite hotels. It's very special to a lot of people. Do you have any words or anything for all your supporters over here?
I think that's, I think you started this journey in terms of the lockdown well before us. And I think that we've all shared tough times together. But I do hope that as soon as you can, you'll get on a plane and come and visit us. We promise to make sure that you are safe and secure, and do our very best to show you warm South African hospitality, even though it might be behind a mask. You know, maybe I'm going to have to get smiley face masks, but they say people smile with their eyes, so we're pretty good. We're pretty sorted for that. But I think as our weather changes, and I'll show you what a beautiful day it is in Cape Town today, we look forward to welcoming you back.
Well, that's fantastic. There's no question the market over here is dying to get back to South Africa. Cape Town is obviously just such an important part of the itinerary, and TableBay is as well. So we'll definitely be knocking at your door sooner than later. Yeah, we'd love to see we'd love to see the view. We'd love to see the wonderful mountain again.
Well, let's show you this, because it really is. We're showing off for you today. It's actually, so I hope it's not too grey and dreary actually at home for you, yeah?
It is at the moment. Today it is.
Tough.
Wow.
So are you getting the mountain?
Wow.
Isn't it perfect?
Beautiful.
How does it? I have to see that view actually. There we go. You won't see me at all.
It looks exquisite.
Beautiful day in Cape Town today.
What a wonderful day. What's the temperature going to be, Joe?
You know, it's chilly for us because it's kind of winter. So today it's balmy. It's about, I would say it's probably about 18 degrees at the moment. I mean, it's beautiful. I was on the promenade this morning and it's just perfect.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's really exciting. That really makes us want to come home.
Wine or gin and tonic weather, in fact.
Brilliant, Joe. But listen, we really appreciate your time on 360 Conversations. To you, to all your staff, we wish you everything of the very best through as we hopefully start coming out of this this period that we've been through, and we wish you a very, very successful future going forward.
Oh, thanks so much, Ian. And I think a big thank you to you and your team. I mean, it's we know you burning the midnight oil, keeping the passion for Cape Town alive. So good wine and good company awaits you for your next visit. Brilliant.
Thank you, Joe. You take care. All the best now.
Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.